There is a piece of land somewhere in the Shenandoah Valley right now that is worth 10 times what the owner paid for it, and most investors have no idea why. And by the end of this video, you will, because today we're pulling back the curtain on exactly what makes land valuable in one of the most underrated and frankly, most stunning regions on the East Coast. Take a look at that. Absolutely beautiful. I'm Jason Oliver with Envision Real Estate Solutions. And whether you're thinking about buying land to build your dream getaway, you're an investor looking for the next great short-term rental opportunity, or you're just tired of watching other people build wealth while you sit on the sidelines, this video is going to change the way you look at land forever. Stick with me. This is going to be worth every single minute. Before we get into the framework, let me tell you who this video is for, because I want to make sure that I'm speaking directly to you. This is for the investors who's been watching Airbnb numbers, who's done the math on vacation rentals, who's looked at coastal markets and mountain markets and said, there has got to be something in between. Something that's affordable, accessible, and absolutely breathtaking. This is for the person who drives through the Shenandoah Valley, maybe on Route 81, maybe on Skyline Drive, and thinks, why doesn't somebody build something incredible here? And this is for the seller who owns a piece of land out here. Maybe you inherited it, maybe you bought it years ago, and generally don't know what it's worth and what to even do with it. This video is your answer. So why now? Why the Shenandoah Valley? Here's what the data shows, and I want to be transparent with you because I believe an educated investor is a great partner. The Shenandoah Valley, we're talking about a corridor that runs from Winchester and Frederick County into the north side, and then down through, Front Royal, Luray, Woodstock, Edinburgh, all the way south to Stanton and Waynesboro. This entire region is experiencing something remarkable. Page County just saw 9.9% price appreciation year over year, and Augusta County 4.8%, Shenandoah County 4.1%. Meanwhile, and this is for the opportunity, the land market here is still dramatically underpriced relative to comparable markets such as the Blue Ridge, the Smokies, the Catskills, the Berkshires. Land in those markets 2, 3, 4 times what you pay here for similar views, similar rivers, and similar altitude. The window is open, but windows do close. All right, let's get into it. What actually makes land valuable? I'm going to give you 7 factors, the same 7 factors our team uses every single time we evaluate a parcel in this region. Number 1, location. And not in the vague location type sense. I mean specific location signals. In the Shenandoah Valley, the magic formula looks like this. You want to be within 1.5 to 2.5 hours of a major metro, DC, Northern Virginia, Richmond, Baltimore, even Charlotte. Why? Because that's the sweet spot for a weekend short-term rental. Close enough to drive without flying, far enough to feel like a real escape. Front Royal, zip code 22630, sits 68 miles from Washington, D.C. Luray, 22851, is about 100 miles. Woodstock, Edinburgh, the Shenandoah County corridor, all within the magic 2-hour window. Accessibility also means, is there paved roads? Does it have an address? Can emergency services reach it? Can broadband be run to it? These are not exciting questions, but they are all deal breakers and deal makers. Okay, factor 2, topography and views. This is where the Shenandoah Valley genuinely wins. Flat land is functional. Elevated land is valuable. When a parcel sits on a ridge, a knob, or a hillside with a clean view corridor, the value premium is real and measurable. We're talking about the kind of views that make people want to stop their car. Layered Blue Ridge ridgelines fading into the horizon, the Shenandoah River cutting through the valley floor, and sunsets that look like a painting. When we acquire land for our development, a view corridor is one of the first things we underwrite. A parcel with a 180-degree unobstructed view of the valley, that's not just pretty, that's a pricing multiplier on your rental rates. Okay, factor 3, water features. Rivers, creeks, lakes, ponds, and springs. The Shenandoah River runs right through the heart of this region, and riverfront and river access properties command a serious premium. Why? Because water is experiential. It's tubing, kayaking, fishing, and swimming holes. It's the memory someone takes from your rental. Page County, the Luray area, it sits on one of the most water-rich zones in the whole valley. The South Fork of the Shenandoah, if a parcel has any kind of water feature, we immediately flag it as a priority acquisition. Okay, factor 4. And this is where most buyers and sellers get tripped up. Zoning and entitlements. Raw land without the right zoning is potential. Land with the right zoning is value. In the Shenandoah Valley, there are specific zoning designations that allow short-term rentals, and these are becoming increasingly important as localities start to regulate STRs more carefully. Page County and Shenandoah County have zones where STR use is permitted, and those parcels are worth more than comparable land where STR is restricted. When we evaluate land, we look at it at its highest and best use. Can we build? What can we build? How many units? Is there water and septic available? Or do we need to drill and install a whole system? Is there road frontage? These are the questions that separate an informed buyer from someone who learns the hard way. All right, factor 5. What will the finished product earn? This is where I want to put on my investor hat for a second, because here's the truth. The value of land for an STR investment isn't just about the land. It's about what you can build on it and what that building will generate. We model every acquisition using AirDNA, Data.Rabu, and local comp analysis. A well-positioned luxury cabin in the Luray and Front Royal Market, 3 bedrooms, great design, mountain or river views, is generating about $80,000 to $150,000 annually. Some of the top performers in the corridor, even more. When you know the revenue ceiling and you can work backwards to determine what the land is worth, what the building costs, and what your margins look like, that's how you buy land like an investor, not a tourist. Factor 6, scarcity. One of the most powerful forces in real estate is supply constraint. The simple fact that they're not making any more of it. The Shenandoah Valley has natural boundaries. The Blue Ridge to the east, the Alleghenies to the west, national forest and protected land throughout. Skyline Drive and Shenandoah National Park lock up significant acreage permanently. So what does that mean for investors? It means the supply of developable land with views, water, and road access is genuinely limited. And as the demand from DC area and the regional investors increases, prices will follow. We are still in the early innings of this market appreciation. We genuinely believe that. All right, factor 7. And I'll be transparent here because this is where we come in. The team behind the deal. Buying land is only the first step. The value of a land investment is fully realized through execution, design, permitting, construction, furnishing, listing, and management. Most investors who buy land in this region do not have the local relationships, the contractor network, the STR management infrastructure, or the financing options to execute at the highest level. That's the gap that we fill, and I'll tell you exactly how in just a minute. So let's talk about what a turnkey Shenandoah Valley land investment looks like, because this is where our model is genuinely different from anything else in this market. Most people, when they think about buying land and building a vacation rental, picture months of headaches, finding a piece of land, not knowing if it'll perk, hiring a builder they've never worked with, picking finishes they're not sure about, listing on Airbnb and hoping for the best. We've built that entire experience from the ground up. Step 1, acquisition. We source and acquire land strategically. We know which parcels have the right topography, the right zoning, the right proximity to the attractions such as Luray Caverns, Shenandoah National Park, the river, the wine trail that drive bookings. We do the due diligence. We know the land. Step 2, design and build. Once a parcel is acquired, our team manages the full from architectural design to permitting to construction to all the final finishes. We're not building cookie-cutter cabins, we're building experiences. We're talking about high-end finishes, exposed timber beams, floor-to-ceiling windows, framing the valley views, soaking tubs, fire pits, saunas, outdoor kitchen spaces, hot tubs on decks that overlook the ridgelines. The kind of place that gets 5-star reviews before the first guest has ever even checked in. Step 3, financing. We also work with lending partners who understand the land and construction financing in this region. For qualified investors, we can structure the financing in ways that a traditional bank simply cannot. You're not going to your local branch and explaining what a short-term rental is to the loan officer who has no idea what AirDNA is. We've done this all before. We have the relationships. Step 4, management. And once your property is built and ready, we can manage it. Listing optimization, dynamic pricing, guest communication, maintenance, cleaning the coordination, revenue reporting. You own the asset. You collect the returns. We handle the work. That is the concierge model. And in the Shenandoah Valley, with the views, the proximity to DC, the scarcity of great short-term rentals, ready land, the returns on a well-executed build are truly exceptional. Now I want to speak directly to the 3 different types of people who are probably watching this video, because the opportunity looks slightly different depending on where you're coming from. Avatar 1, the investment first buyer. If you're an investor, maybe you're already running other short-term rentals. Maybe you've got capital that's just sitting in the stock market and you're looking for a tangible, appreciating asset that's also generating income. The Shenandoah Valley is one of the best risk-adjusted plays that I'm aware of right now. Land prices are still accessible. Build costs are known and manageable. STR demand from the DC corridor is structural. It's not going away, and the regulatory environment in Page and Shenandoah counties is currently favorable, which is not something you can say about every single market. The smart money in real estate always moves early. Before the features in the Wall Street Journal, before the HGTV show, before the comp values go up by 40%, this is that moment for the Valley. Investor number 2, the lifestyle and legacy buyer. Maybe you're not purely motivated by yield. Maybe you want a place that's yours, a family retreat, a place to bring the people that you love, where you can unplug from everything, sit on a porch, watch a sunrise over the Blue Ridge, and just breathe. And maybe when you're not using it, you'd like it to pay for itself, or ideally, generate some income. That's a completely achievable reality in this market. We design properties that work beautifully as both personal retreats and high-performing rentals. You block off the weeks that you want it, the rest of the calendar earns. Investor number 3, the land seller. And if you're watching this and you already own land in this region, maybe it was passed down. Maybe you bought it years ago with no specific plan. I want to speak directly to you for a moment. You may be sitting on significantly more value than you realize. The metrics I shared earlier, the appreciation in Page County, Shenandoah County, Augusta County, those numbers are real. And if your parcel has any of the characteristics I described, the elevation, views, water, favorable zoning, it deserves a serious evaluation. We work with landowners in multiple different ways. We acquire directly, we partner on development, and we can help you understand what your land is actually worth in today's market. With no obligation, transparency is core to how we operate. If it doesn't make sense for us, we'll tell you, and we'll try to point you in the right direction either way. Before I give you the next step, I want to address some of the questions that I get most often, because I'd rather answer them on camera than have them sitting in the back of your mind. Question: what if you can't sell the completed property or fill the rental? Well, that's a great question, and we're extremely selective about what we acquire. Our business model only works if the build works. We don't get paid unless you do. Every parcel goes through a full underwriting process. Comparable STR revenue analysis, proximity to demand drivers, zoning confirmation, and utility feasibility. We don't build properties that we're not confident in. Question: what does this actually cost to get into? Well, it varies by parcel, building scope, and your financing structure. We've worked with investors who came in with cash and investors who leveraged financing. The entry point is not what you might expect for a turnkey luxury development. When you're ready to have that conversation, we'll lay out all the full numbers. Question: how long does the build process take? From land acquisition to keys in hand, a typical project in this region runs about 10 to 18 months, depending on the scope, of course. Permitting timelines and your design choices. We'll give you a realistic timeline up front, not the optimistic one that sounds good in a sales call. Question: is the STR market getting saturated? Nationally, yes, we believe so. There are oversaturated STR markets, and the Shenandoah Valley is not one of them. Occupancy rates for well-positioned, well-designed properties in the Luray, Front Royal, and Shenandoah County corridors remain strong. The key word is well-positioned. Cookie cutter does not work. Thoughtful designed? Yes, uniquely positioned properties continue to outperform all the time. Okay, so here's where I want to land. The Shenandoah Valley is one of those places that once you really understand what's happening here, the appreciation, the demand, the natural beauty, the proximity to 10 million people in the DC and Northern Virginia corridors, it becomes very hard to unsee the opportunity. And we've built a model specifically designed to let you act on that opportunity without the learning curve, without the contractor headaches, without the guesswork. We acquire the land. We design and build the property. We help structure the financing. We manage the asset. You own a piece of one of the most beautiful regions in all of America, and it works for you. Now, I'm not going to tell you that this is for everyone, because it's not. This is for the people who are serious about building real wealth through real assets, who appreciate the value of working with a team that's done this before, and who are genuinely drawn to the idea of owning something extraordinary in a place that truly is extraordinary. And if that's you, here's what I want you to do right now. There's a link below this video to download our free Shenandoah Valley Land Value Guide. It goes deeper into the 7 factors that we covered today. It includes a zone-by-zone breakdown of the markets that we're most active in and walks you through what a realistic investment and return looks like. Download it, read it, and when you're ready to talk, there's a way to book a call directly with our team. No pressure, no pitch, just a conversation to see, if what we do is a fit for what you're trying to build. I genuinely appreciate you spending this time with us today. The Shenandoah Valley, it's our backyard, and we never get tired of talking about what matters. Until next time, we'll see you out there.